All right. Let's go. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with
Sean McCool.
And we got our band going in the background, cranking it up. We need to give our band a name. You know,
I don't know. What we call them, the Gen Xers? Why not? We'll call them the Gen Xers. Pints. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Got the Pints playing in the background.
So we'll call it like Sean Taylor and the Pints.
That's perfect.
There you go. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about, we got some randomness going on that we'll talk about. One's even a little bit Christmas themed, just not in this country. We've got a little gift you can send to your enemies. Talk about that in the spirit of Christmas.
Nice little surprise.
Yeah. And then we've got, we'll talk a little bit about humor.
Yeah.
And, should you use it? Does it convert? How do you use it effectively? All that kind of stuff. So
awesome.
We got. But before we get to that, we got some beers on tap.
That's right. Let's do it.
Music does not fade well. They don't have like a clear slider.
No, I know. The Pints need to learn to fade that out. Let's give them a little applause. Some nice little jam in there right there.
Yeah, good job. Good job, guys.
All right.
See you next week.
Yep. See you on the next. Hey, do they do Christmas music, Sean? I mean, will they be playing any Christmas jams? Maybe a little Manhattan Steamroller.
I don't see any, but I could probably add some.
Probably
add it to their set list for sure.
I said Manhattan, not Mannheim. Mannheim.
Yes, yeah. Mannheim Steamroller. Yes.
That's
a whole marketing lesson in itself, right there, man. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
So long.
Exactly.
Niche thing there, but what do you got over on your end as far as beverages of the day?
So I have one from Next Level. Let's see. I'm going to share this. Add to stage. They don't have it's really interesting because they don't share the artwork or anything like that. Not that it's all that spectacular, but I'll hold it up here. This is a big one.
It looks like the first website I built.
This is huge, man. This is a bourbon barrel aged Mounds. Do you like Mounds candy bars?
Yeah.
It's dark chocolate and coconut. It's a dark chocolate and coconut pastry stout, Sean. It says in the left corner, coming in at 10.1% ABV, is a bourbon barrel aged Mounds. This banger was aged for 13 months in 4 Roses bourbon barrels.
I feel like you've had this before, have you not?
I've had a 4 Roses bourbon barrel, but not this one. Not this one.
The Mound sounds really familiar. The Joy's Got Nuts.
Yeah. And maybe I have in the but not so recent, because I remember the one that I had.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Roses.
Maybe that's different.
Yeah. But it's loaded up with tons of dark chocolate, coconut, and literally a mound of Mounds bars.
Wow.
Seems like this should be a clear winner. And so we'll see. Pastry stout, a coconut chocolate pastry stout. So we'll see.
Wow. I like it. All right. So I've got on my end, I've had this before. Devil's Backbone, Belgian style triple, 8.1% ABV. It's named after some road out in the Texas Hill Country. So yeah, I've had this one before, and it is just a classic.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, I do remember that one.
Yeah. So looking forward to that one again. I was at a party and they had some left over, and I took one home. So nothing better than free beer, especially quality free beer. So it's pretty good.
Let's hold them up.
All right.
So if this one doesn't work, and somehow I've got a backup glass, Sean, if I don't like this one, I've got the Shiner Holiday Cheer.
Oh, that one's good. It's a good all around beer.
Yeah. It's a go-to in case this one fails miserably.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Cheers. Ooh.
Man, that's strong. Belgian, very Belgian, but good stuff. I'm gonna give mine a.
Do you remember what you rated it before?
I don't. 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay.
It's got that hoppiness to it in the beginning. It's really strong, but other than that, I like it.
All right. I'm going to give this one I'm probably going to give this one a 8. I'll go 3-3 on this one. It's a little strong, a little syrupy and sweet, but it's tolerable. I won't give up on it. Maybe it'll get better as we go.
Oh, this just in from our on the comment section. Man, we have been waiting for this deal to happen. This looks like this is from Twitch, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer a promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient order management panel, chat panel, everything is in your hands. Turn it on, off, customize. Go to Streamrise I guess that's a .ru. So we are not that is not a promotion. That's just a comment we got. So do not go to that.
Yeah. Yeah, but, please don't.
Man, we've been waiting 335 episodes to get a message like that. So glad they came through.
Oh man, those Twitchers.
Man. Yeah, Twitchers. I mean, I sent you that text this week. Like Twitch is up in the game as far as content. They're now allowing topless content.
Great.
We're gonna have to up our game here.
Gives you some ideas.
Yeah. I have to look for a different kind of guest on the show.
Yeah. Does StreamYard have a blur out effect? I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah, that could be tricky if we're streaming to multiple places. So I guess we'll hold off until we get the technology for that. So. All right. Excuse me. I got a little bit of a tickle cough here. Mm-hmm. Tamara brought home some more sickness from her job. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. So trying to hold it down, but yeah, let's talk about. I've got a couple just kind of random things that we'll jump into humor, but just kind of some stuff that hit me this week. You know, we're kind of rounding out the year. There's kind of some cool stuff coming on about the year and things like that.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting, and it's about Pfizer.
Okay.
And we all knew this was coming, right? And here's the chart, Jonathan. Pfizer's financials have been on a roller coaster in the past 3 years.
No.
Somehow, something happened in 2022 and leading up to 2022 that they just made a lot of money.
Man.
It's weird. Like this weird spike in the middle of this pandemic.
It's
and
almost
now,
like
suddenly they can't match those numbers.
It's almost like they had something that was being used a lot of during that time.
Yeah, and maybe they had some like funding that wasn't a normal part of their business.
Yeah.
You know, between test kits and, you know, certain large entities buying up.
Look at that chart. I mean, they're going
vaccines.
From 28 billion down to
13 billion.
Yeah.
This is the reason I pulled this up for persuasion and marketing and stuff we talk about is because hey, they made a lot of money. They got a nice little contract from the government, but this is what happens when you mandate demand.
Yeah.
Now, put the politics aside for a minute, but when you mandate demand, typically, unless you can keep the mandate going, this is what's going to happen, right? You forced a lot of people, or you coerced, you manipulated a lot of people into getting something that they weren't sure about. Like there wasn't just natural demand for this, right? At least not this much.
No, I mean, it was, there
was some demand.
They didn't quite succeed in the full capacity of what they would have liked.
We could also talk about the quality of fulfillment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another reason it's fallen off the charts.
Right.
So you have to be very careful when you do something that creates a manufactured demand. Mm-hmm. Eugene Schwartz said, you don't create demand, you link current demand to your product.
Yeah,
right. You
exactly.
create the desire that's already existed in people. So what they did is, they kind of did that, right? They took this desire to be healthy and not be sick, and they ramped it up, but then they used artificial things like mandates,
Right.
things like that to drive up the things. Now, like I said, they made a lot of money, but now it's coming back to bite them. And share price, if you look on the right side of our charts, that's the share price. I think, the market cap, not the share price, but the market cap has been tanking since the end of last year. So, and the other thing is they put so much into their number one seller from 2022, which I'm not going to really say in case YouTube is still censoring some of that stuff, but that they missed the boat on some of the weight loss drugs that were coming out that are like really doing well, which down here,
they were so
Eli Lilly, they expect the weight loss drug market to be worth $100 billion
right
by the end of the decade.
So they're
behind on that.
Short-term gains for long-term, because if you look at the two, I mean, weight loss is probably something that, that's going to be going on for a long time. There's more longevity. It's more evergreen than.
Yeah. And people have been wanting a pill for weight loss for, decades. The demand is natural there. Like people want it. So that was an interesting stat I saw.
It doesn't help. They've had a lot of negative feedback, on from people that from a lot of news on people that have gotten, vaxxed and double vaxxed and all of these things. There's things that are coming out that are not don't paint the most the greatest picture for them. So for any of these drugs. So I think that people are more skeptical today. So it's almost like it had a boomerang effect. And so, I'll tell you another market where we talk about forced, you forced demand, or you try to force the market's hand. Is another one is EVs. And I follow this a lot in my industry because there's a lot of, there's a lot of applications, or there are market opportunities that are always mentioned in our industry towards the EV markets, and especially in the batteries, like the battery containments for using composite materials. But the market that it's actually coming. That's another one that's having a boomerang effect, where the demand is, or the desire for an electric vehicle is actually diminishing, and it's just not. There's not the market out there that they want you to believe,
right?
For these vehicles. For one, they're priced really high, and another, there's so many problems. There's so many issues with. When it comes to longevity of charges, and
still the number one issue is range anxiety.
Yeah,
that's still the number one issue. Although I think Toyota just said they came out with a new battery that can go like 550 miles and charge in 10 minutes. If they pull that off, that does change the thing considerably. But then, there's a lot of issues. Obviously, where does the power come from? Still comes from the grid. So it's like
exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. And where are all these charging stations that you're going to find? I know they're popping up more and more, but
the infrastructure is just not there yet. So it's that catch-22, right? It's like,
you really find yourself traveling, I travel a lot. You find yourself out on a county road out in the middle of nowhere in Timbuktu, Mississippi, and you're driving an electric vehicle. Your options aren't, all that great when it comes to finding a power source to
when you're 2 hours from the closest interstate. That's where most of the chargers are. It's going to be in interstates. So, all right, well, let's move on. This one I thought was interesting. We can maybe even file this in the humor section, since we are talking a little bit about that, or we can just file it in the, I don't know where, but This is actually an older article, but somebody that was in my Facebook feed, he mentioned it again because it popped up in his memories on Facebook. I just thought it was kind of fun to bring on. So check this out, Jonathan. This guy, an Italian artist, auctioned off an invisible sculpture for $18,300.
That's awesome.
Made literally of nothing. Salvatore Garu, maybe, said of his sculpt. He said, it's a work that asks you to activate the power of the imagination.
Wow.
For 18 grand. So I got some paper. I just
how
bought
do you
a ream
know
of paper.
How does somebody know that they're getting? I guess there's like documentation that.
Yeah, they got a certificate of authenticity and everything.
Okay.
That goes with it. So he threw out some science though. I mean, I have to give the guys kudos. Like he knows his market, right? He's got a market of people who have more money than they want to make a point. Like I wonder. So what I wonder is like, could I say it was stolen and get the insurance money? Like
it's true.
Like how would the insurance company? I don't know if they would insure it or not.
They would not.
I'd be curious to know if
I can guarantee you they would not.
Sorry, I thought it was here, but it came down this morning and it was gone. So it needs to be like in a 5 foot by 5 foot space, free of obstruction. I mean, he's got all kinds of these requirements, so he's creating this like, he kind of did make it real, even though it's not the fact that somebody exchanged 18 grand for it does in a way make it real, right? Like it's kind of weird. It's just kind of amazing.
Scroll back up. I want to read that section where he says, oh crap.
Down here.
Yeah, I think it's further down. Where he says, if you thought that was artsy claptrap, he goes on to draw a rather lofty comparison to the work. After all, don't we shape a god that we've never seen?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. Like there's a whole video on it. And he does get into some quantum physics as well in one of the articles. I don't think it's in this one, but he uses the Heisenberg principle to say that, because he thought about it and the thought is in the ether, basically, that it does actually exist. Here it is. The vacuum is nothing more than a space full of energy. And even if we empty it and there's nothing left, according to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that nothing has weight. So nothingness has a weight, according to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
Wow.
Therefore, it has energy that is condensed and transformed into particles that is into us. So basically, he's saying it does exist. It's just you can't see it. It's invisible. So,
wow.
So if you think long and hard enough and you find the right audience, man, you can literally sell anything you want. So I thought that one was fun. Here's another fun one for Christmas time. Did you know KFC was a thing in Japan for Christmas?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised that any fast food is popular in Japan. So
yeah. Well, apparently, in 1974, one of the managers of one of the KFCs, like the marketing manager for KFC in Japan, decided to tie Christmas to Japan because they didn't really have Christmas traditions because it's not a Christian country. So he decided to make KFC the star of Christmas tradition in Japan.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
Colonel Sanders is Santa Claus now?
Yes, in Japan. Or he's dressed up like Santa, yes. I've noticed in this picture too. Can you see he's
Colonel Claus?
Notice his eyes are a little more narrow than they are in the US here in this picture. So
yeah, you're right. He does have a Asian element there too.
Yeah, he's got the little goatee thing,
Yeah,
which I know he
that's
had, but it just looks a little more Asian on him.
Yeah.
But literally now, so check this out. Here's the menu. I pulled up the current menu. Here's the current menu. And so you can get a bucket of chicken, a pie, and a side for 4,700 yen. Well, you might want to know How much is 4,700 yen? Well, I'm glad you asked, Jonathan, because that's $33.
Good night.
So they're actually pricing this thing pretty well. So this is the equivalent of like our honey baked ham.
Yeah.
For Christmas. And families will stand in line apparently for hours to get KFC on Christmas Day. And it's so popular, in fact, that it is now a third of Japan's KFC sales every year. Christmas Day.
Wow. A third? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
do they leave a chicken breast out for
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe a potato wedge or something? I don't know. I mean, if I was
Jolly Saint Colonel Saint Sanders, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know what.
Yeah, how does that work?
I don't know. I think he's still Colonel Sanders. He's just dressed up in a hat, you know. But yeah, it's like, and they've even had to spread it out over besides just Christmas Day because there were so many people buying it. And Christmas is not a national holiday in Japan, so it's
okay. It's just, so they don't have. They don't
actually have Christmas.
Nick, yeah, they don't have a guy coming down the chimney.
No, is as close as they get in Colonel Sanders. So I just thought that was fascinating how one guy can say, "Hey, let's make this up for this campaign," and then 50 years later, it's like a third of all sales in that country. That one day, like I hope he got a royalty on that.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. So, I mean,
yeah. If you want to do a gold belly order and order it from Japan to here,
I'm not sure what that stuff over to the.
I think it's a mac and cheese or something.
Okay, all right. Because I love how they put the microwave up there. Like I guess you can just take it home and.
As far as I can tell, it looks like you get 4 pieces of these, you get 3 of these.
Yeah.
You know, I can't.
Are they telling me that it's cold when I get it, so I got to go home and heat it
probably. I mean, if you're standing in line all day for it, yeah,
I got to pay $40 for it, and then I got to go home and heat it.
Yep. So here's some of the other meals. You can get nuggets. They even have. You can look at this. It switches to the premium series down here.
Oh yeah, you can get
a roasted chicken.
Man,
for $6,500, which is going to be more like $50 for a roast chicken. I can go to Kroger and get one for $7.
Wow.
You know, because that's not a turkey, I don't think. I can't read Japanese, but
they're killing. Look at that.
Yeah, wow. Fancy. Look at that. Just like one. And this is crazy. So yeah, if you go to kfc.co.jp, you can find.
You can order some chicken from Japan.
Yeah.
Have it sent. You can have it sent back.
Absolutely.
Instead of going down to your local KFC where you have to sit through a drive-through for 10 minutes in the drive-through.
Yeah. But you might want the legit bucket, you know, the KFC bucket, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right. So as we move on, I know you got to run here in a minute, Jonathan. I want to get to tea time in. So we're going to hit this last couple things fast. I was reading our article about humor, which we're just going to touch very quickly. We'll probably come back to it.
Yeah.
In the next month or so, but between guests. But one of the links talked about this place where you can ship a glitter bomb to your enemies.
Love it.
So here's
I've got a list that I've already created.
Yes. So it's not Cole this
year. Most of them
it's
are competitors.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you need to send it to all your sales guy competitors, and then they make sure they open it right before they go on an appointment.
Yes,
they're just covered in glitter.
Yeah, please open before please open before your next visit to XYZ account.
Yes. So check this out. This guy has literally, you can send a glitter bomb in the mail anonymously to your enemies. So it's been around since 2015. I did not know about it, but I also have.
I'm guessing that they open it and it blows up all over them. It's the.
Yeah, I can't scroll down and show too much because there are some things on here that would be rather explicit. So I don't think I can.
Gotcha.
I don't want to show them on because there are some more explicit pranks that you can send as well.
Okay.
Here, I'll. Well, I can't. I can take
Let's
it
just
off.
leave that to our listeners' imagination. And
Yes. So they can go to shipyourенemiesglitter.com.
wow.
So yeah, that's, and there are some other pranks, and there's also some pranks that are wouldn't have to be your enemies as well. So
Yeah,
there are some good stuff. There's some interesting stuff on there. But
that's awesome.
I've got a few people on the list. So
Are they really enemies? Or are they just...
No, some of them will just be pranks. Some of them will be enemies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But be careful in the mail, Jonathan.
Anything from you, I'm going to be taking it
Yes.
outside.
Have your kids open it.
Yeah, I got some for you. That's one of those regifting. If it comes from you, Sean, I'm regifting it immediately.
Okay.
It's going under the tree.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. That's a very creative. I mean, obviously they're doing well. I mean, they've been around since 2015, so I mean, it's a profitable business. So
speaking of profitable businesses,
yeah,
how much, when you're on TikTok, you can send a coin or a star to people.
Yep.
And it gives them money.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Me either. How much do you think, without looking at the screen, how much do you think people spent in 2023, not on ad revenue, not on TikTok Shop, just on buying coins to give to creators on TikTok?
22 million.
You are very, very far off.
Oh, 10 billion.
$10 billion in 2023.
Holy cow.
Was spent on people buying packs of, so the packs of 1,300 coins for $19.99 is the most popular pack. So you go in the app, you can buy 1,321 coins. It's very specific,
right?
For $19.99, and that's about a quarter of the revenue right there.
Right.
You give that to a creator that you like, and probably one of your, if you like one of the comedians or whoever, TikTok keeps 50%, and the rest goes to the creator. So of that 10 billion, they're keeping 5, and then 5's getting paid out to the creators. But I mean, that is just mind-boggling to me that people have spent, and that doesn't include. They said that's just through Google, through Apple app and Google Play. So there's actually more than that if you count China and some other countries and other things like that. That just blows my mind that people spend that kind of money. I don't know why. I mean, we spend money on entertainment of all kinds. I just think that our generation, Jonathan, just is not yet used to paying in that way.
Right.
I'd be curious to see the age demographics of who buys those packs.
I would too. It's got to be younger. I mean, I don't think it would. Sure. Our generation wouldn't be doing that. We're like, no. Yeah. Why would I do that?
The only app that has more in-app purchases is Candy Crush.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that. That's addictive. So I can see how that would be.
Oh yeah. Rachel used to play that. She used to be hooked on that like for a long time. Not anymore, but man, that was just like, you got to get those coins, they hook you.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, I remember when I was writing financial copy and we were like, I was working at a company. We were just like, struggling to get the promotions and get the revenue and all that kind of stuff. And the CEO was like, we're struggling over here to hit, these goals, and Candy Crush is like making $25 million a day or whatever crazy number it was.
Absolutely.
Like, do not underestimate the value, like the financial value of entertainment. I know we've mentioned that before, and that's kind of the last thing on the show today is like a lot of this is around humor too, or entertainment.
Yeah.
So I found an article today. Cool website, cxl.com, has a lot. I think anybody in this audience would love the website if you're not already familiar with it. cxl.com, charlieextralarge.com, charlieXrayLima.com, depending on how you want to think about it. I sent you this article. Anything jump out at you, Jonathan, that you thought was kind of interesting or cool?
Yeah, you just got to be, there's there's a fine line on what works, what's effective for, humor that converts. And then when you go too far,
Yeah.
it's easy to go over the top, right?
Yeah. Or it's easy to be clever, but not necessarily funny.
Right.
You don't want to get too cerebral in your humor.
Yeah, exactly. When people have to think too much about it, then you've lost them.
This was a great example that they put on here. So I'm going to just read the headline and subhead of 3 different variations. So the original was iPhone. This is an old ad, you can tell. iPhone 4 or 4S screen repair. Our promise: fix fast, fix right. So that was the control.
Right.
The next one was your iPhone will look new again in less than 1 hour. Whether your screen is cracked or shattered, or skilled technicians will blow you away with the results. Blah blah blah. Pretty boring. Variation 2, they decided to put a little bit more personality in it. They said, don't be embarrassed of your cracked iPhone screen. In less than 1 hour, your iPhone will look brand new again, and you can show it off proudly. So there's a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
For half of what the other guys charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That actually did, I think, like 17% better than the first one. And then this one was the winner. Did your iPhone screen have a rough night out?
Yeah, right.
We can't cure a hangover, but we can make your iPhone look brand new in less than 1 hour for half of what the other guys charge.
Yeah.
Like that immediately just lands, right? Compared to the others.
Of course.
And the difference,
what, 7?
Well, the actual difference was like, so from
17% improvement.
From 1 to 2 was a 14% improvement, and then another 17% improvement from version 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So considerably more effective than the first one. So, and it's just enough humor, and they were marketing this to college kids mostly. So the night out really and the hangover, made a lot of sense to them. So you want it to be, here's why they think it works. And nobody really knows exactly. One, it does get attention because it's different, for the most part, than a lot of what you see out there. Number 2, it kind of suspends disbeliefs, and we kind of forget that we're being sold to, right? Because they're like, oh, these people are cool, right? You want to buy from a cool person or cool company. Because if you buy from a cool company, it means that you're probably cool, right? That association is kind of subconscious.
Right.
The other thing is it creates a positive sentiment. Like literally there's a link in your brain that happens that's like, oh, this product is cool, funny, whatever. So yeah, that's the main social conditioning. And humor works in a lot of countries. It works the best though in this little chart here is interesting. Let me click. Humorous works best in Europe and North America. Humor does not work as well in Asia.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the US and Europe, there's actually different forms of, I know the English, the Brits have kind of a dry sense of humor. So it's all you have to understand even in that
you have to understand both your age bracket, your a lot of stuff. So so humor does work, but if it doesn't work, it's because you go too far. Or you're inconsistent. Like you might have one page or one call to action that's funny and nothing else on your website is funny.
Right.
Like if you're going to do it, you got to kind of go all in with it and just carry that humor throughout the whole site.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is they do humor, but they forget about persuasion.
Yeah.
So you still have to be persuasive, because if you look at the ones we talked about earlier with the phones, they still covered, make your iPhone look brand new in less than 1 hour for half of what the other guys charge. Those are still the persuasive benefits, right? If they just said, did your iPhone screen have a rough night out? Bring it to us, we'll fix it. You're missing a couple of the persuasive elements there of price, of speed, a set result in a set amount of time and for set cost, that kind of stuff. So that's important, that you still have to have the persuasion elements as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Amplify I think it's always good on any ad if you can use humor to amplify the pain, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because pain is, I mean, we all deal with some pain. I mean, some pain in whatever situation we're in that has to be obviously met with a solution. So why not use, some humor to kind of, ease the seriousness of that, don't make it so over the top. But I know self-deprecating humor works a lot too. I mean, you have to be careful with that. You don't want to go too far with that. But I've always found that, self-deprecating humor is it's kind of a lost art. You see a lot of comics today, it's all about making fun of other people, not so much themselves.
Yeah, well, there's a guy right now in the news, in the middle of cancel culture discussion right now. Matt, do you know Matt Rife? Have you seen his stuff? Young kid.
I've not followed. Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I mean, that's what he does. He just picks on the audience. He makes fun of people, and like nothing is off limits for him.
Yeah.
Like, and he's stood by it. Like, he did an official apology when everybody said he should be canceled because he made fun of like domestic abuse.
Right.
And his apology, he put a link on his site. It said apology letter here. And you click through and it goes to a site for helmets for disabled kids. I mean, talk about doubling down.
Wow.
I mean, wow. Dude's got bigger cojones than me. That's for sure. Like,
and I think that's just beyond humor. That's just being like provocative.
Right. And if you read a lot of the comments were like, he should be canceled for not being funny or being lazy, not for being offensive. Right. A lot of people are like, sure, he's offensive, but we don't need we don't need cancel culture for people that are offensive.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to cancel him, just don't listen to his stuff. He's not that funny anyway.
Right.
Although I have to say it's like cringy funny, but you can only take so much of it,
Yeah.
But he does have some stuff that is very funny, but then to me, it does become lazy when you start picking on other people. And I think the same thing is true for companies. If you start picking on your competitors and telling jokes about your competitors, it's not going to be as effective as self-deprecating or just good, clean humor that your audience can relate to.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. It's you kind of go in the line of just like shock. It becomes more shock value than anything when you cross that line. So it's like, it's not really, I wouldn't call it humor as much as it is just, being provocative.
Kind of reminds me of a young modern version of Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, okay.
Remember him?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I remember him from high school.
Yeah. So,
hey.
So yeah,
I don't know what ever happened to him. He
could. I mean, yeah.
He's probably a shell of what he used to be. I mean, a guy who smoked cigarettes on the stage and just.
Yeah, it's rough. So
yeah.
Well, I know you got a tea time to hit.
Yeah,
Jonathan, so
absolutely.
We'll keep it there, and we'll probably come back to this humor a little bit. We are going to have a guest next week. We'll just leave it a mystery, but he does some funny stuff.
He's funny. He should be a funny guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's a little. He's very sarcastic. He did warn me about that.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah.
Does he drink? Does he have a beer?
I haven't found out yet, so
we should send him let's send him a glitter package before then.
Rush item.
Let's send him a glitter box and say, you need to open this when we on the show. I hope he's not open it on the show. Yeah.
He's ruined it. We should have done that. We should do that for all our guests.
I know.
It'd be our running thing then nobody would ever come on.
We want you to open this as we introduce you on the show. Yeah, that'd be great. By the way, I was thinking earlier, this invisible art. Do you remember like when people could buy, I don't even know if it's still a thing, Sean, but when people could buy a star for somebody else, or you could name a star, it cost you like, I forgot how much it was, like $100 or $200 to name a star. And then, you just get some certificate that says you've named a star after somebody.
Yeah.
It's like probably 1,000 other people had that same. It's like, It just shows. It goes to show, like, you could chalk it up to somebody came up with a very creative idea, but it's also shows you like what's the old saying? There's a sucker born every minute.
Yeah, it's like our friend Bill Mueller today. I think he put out in his email talking about, was it him or somebody else? Somebody put out about selling the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Eiffel Tower was sold twice, and like all those kind of things. There's always people that want, wherever there's that desire to own something, impressive, especially, I think the ego,
unique, right? They have to have something completely unique that no one else has,
right? So the ego gets triggered, and
absolutely,
like, ooh, I own a star. I named a star after you, babe. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. It's up there, but
I know the coordinates according to this sheet that they sent me. But
it's funny. One of the companies I worked with, where I was running the agency, we had somebody for a while that was selling. You could put documents on a little laser disc, and they were going to put it on a rocket that went to the moon, and then it would be left on the moon for whatever alien species wanted to find it.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it was like $100 to do that. Campaign flopped. Did not do well.
Oh man. Well,
because of exactly what you said. Everybody was like, really? Is that really? Like,
yeah.
I mean, they were planning on doing it, but
yeah,
it's just too unbelievable. And like, people are like, well, how do I know it's there? Like,
right.
All this kind of stuff.
People went, they went too far.
Skepticism was so high, it was impossible to sell.
Yeah. Yep.
But, all right, man. Well, I'll let you go. Have a great game of golf. We'll have a guest next week.
Absolutely.
And that'll be interesting. I'm not going to give too much away because I haven't figured out what we're going to title the show yet. But this dude publishes a lot of books, and we're going to talk. I'm not even sure why he publishes what he publishes. So we're going to find that out when he comes on as a guest, and you'll find out when we find out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to read through. I've got a copy. You've got a copy. So I'm going to kind of skim through so I know what this is about. But I'll be ready for his sarcasm when he comes on.
Be ready. I'll see if I had the book nearby, but I don't. So, all right. Well, I'll let you wrap us up.
All right. To all of our listeners, you can find us over at Persuasion by the Pint. You can find us on all of your podcast platforms, soon to be coming to Instagram. We now have StreamYard now does Instagram, so we'll be able to stream directly there. We just got to set up an account, an account over there.
Yeah.
Sean, I'll let you do that.
Will do.
And hope everyone has a great weekend. Sean, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
All right.